Hey friends, welcome to a special episode of TradesTalk here in the K&D studio. Going forward, we're going to bring these episodes to you guys at least once a month and just explore and talk about the landscape industry at a greater detail. I'm your host today, Justin White, and I'm going to be joined by a guest, Tony Battistella, who is the Director of Growth for K&D Landscaping. Today's conversation is going to hit on a wider range of topics from AI to simulation theory to account management. You guys are going to enjoy this. It's probably more entertaining than it is educational, but either way, hope you tune in and enjoy the entire podcast. If you do enjoy this, share it with a friend, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Just give us some love. We appreciate you guys listening, and let's jump in. Hey folks, welcome to a special episode of TradesTalk. I'm here with Tony Battistella of K&D Landscaping, and we're doing a special episode all about landscaping.
That's it. We're winging it and drinking tea and sharing the goss.
So this will be our first video podcast that we publish, and if you're listening to this, just know there is a video option on YouTube and Spotify you can check out. But if you are watching this, then welcome to the studio here, the K&D studio we've got set up here at the office, where we're going to be doing these episodes regularly, talking about landscape, talking about the challenges, and also the disruption that's happening within the landscape industry, because it's truly moving at a radical pace right now.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely, Justin.
So, Tony, for the audience who doesn't know you, most people probably, if you're not following Tony on LinkedIn or Instagram, you should. He's got...
Don't start.
he's got some good stuff on there. But give us the 3-minute backstory on how you got into the industry, some of the places you've worked, and how you've come to this amazing place today.
To the promised land of K&D.
Oh, that's what they say.
Well, I started in, I guess you could call it the green industry, when I was 16 years old as a park service attendant. That was for a county park at Vasona County Park in Santa Clara. Basically, I was
that's kind of like Bay Area for people.
Yeah, Bay Area, guys, Bay Area. So San Jose, Santa Clara. And I was just picking up trash and dog shit and like things that were pretty dirty, but I was stoked. I was like, I'm a little mini park ranger and I like being outside, so this works. And then that slowly evolved into becoming a florist at a
Really? I didn't know that.
Whole Foods Market. I was a florist. It was like my little plan to pick up chicks as a 18-year-old. And it worked. But finally, one guy, I think after about 2 years of doing that, some guy came up to me and was like, "Man, you look miserable." And I was like, "Okay, great. Thanks, man. That's awesome feedback." But he's like, "I think you want to work outside. I don't think you like these fluorescent lights." And his name was Mark Core from Core Landscaping in Los Gatos, and he got me into my first design build team. And that was as simple as just yielding a pickaxe. And
I was gonna say, you were in the field working with your hands.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, every day. And I liked it because I was like, this is my way to be fit in fitness. And I liked riding, long distances on bicycles. I liked surfing. It was good. And just like anything, as a 18 to 21-year-old, you get bored pretty quick. I still get bored quick, but I was like, I want to make more money doing this.
Yeah.
I got to figure out a way to do it. And some guy planted a seed in my ear and he was like, "You should get a city job." Worst advice I ever got. But I ended up working for the city of Saratoga. If anyone from the city of Saratoga is listening to this, I love the city of Saratoga, but city work, Justin, as you might know, it's pretty mundane.
It takes a certain type of person, nothing wrong with it, right? But it sounds like you desired more challenge in that period of time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a weird conflict of wanting security and higher pay and also still having that entrepreneurial spirit. So I was mowing lawns. I was,
on the kind of side jobs.
No. This is city of Saratoga. I was on a full,
you were mowing
72 inch, just X mark, just mowing these recreational turf areas.
Yeah.
And as anyone who knows me knows that I probably wasn't going to last that long doing that. So that was about 4 years. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I think I could be a manager now, like being young and dumb and full of, you know what? Fun. I was like, I gotta get a manager role. So looked on Indeed and Gothic Landscape showed up. And I was like, what type of name is that? Like Gothic.
I know, huh?
I was like,
you know where the name comes from?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
But why don't you tell us?
I don't know. The street. The street they built their business on.
Yeah, the Georgios, they grew up on Gothic Avenue. And I'm not sure if it was Gothic Ave or Gothic Street.
Right.
But yeah, in San Fernando Valley, and that's where it started. But I was completely clueless, but it was exciting. They're like, you get a company car, you get a cell phone, and yeah, come on, go get it.
So you moved down to San Diego, or where?
That time was to LA.
LA.
So yeah, you're going to experience the ping pong journey of my 20s.
Yeah. So you grew up in San Jose more or less, right?
Yeah, San Jose, Lehigh School.
Kind of stayed there, Lehigh. Shout out Lehigh. And my wife went there. And you end up in LA working for Gothic. You account manager at BD. What are you doing at Gothic?
So I got hired as an operations manager. I was still like wanting to be in the field and very much committed to like the horticultural journey.
Yeah.
And like it didn't feel, the sales bug didn't bite me yet. But I ended up kind of at arms with the AM there because I was like such a natural people person. Right. And he wasn't, but he was the AM. And so we were battling, right? Like the clients were coming to me and it wasn't a very healthy situation. But slowly but surely, I think it was Chris Wick at the time had noticed and he's like, hey, like, are you ever interested in a sales role? And I was like, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
And he took me to like a Westridge mall and he was like, so what would you do in this position? Like, he's like, where's the office? Follow me. And he goes and takes me to the office and does a cold call right in front of me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I have to talk to people I don't know. Like plants don't talk back. I like plants. Like I don't want to be in sales. But yeah, he ended up giving me a opportunity doing business development at that point. And yeah, I kind of went through a couple management roles. One at Dennis 7Ds. Shout out 7Ds in Portland.
Great company up there.
Awesome company. Nathan Dirksen and Dean Snodgrass and the Snodgrasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, that journey then took me back to Gothic down in San Diego as a business developer.
So you went from LA
boom
up to 7Ds.
Yeah.
Did a stint up in the Portland market, or where were you at?
Yeah.
For like a year?
I was in the Portland metro area. Yeah.
And then, did you compete against Pacific out there?
I mean, it was they were better than us.
They were the guy. I mean, shout out Bob Grover, absolute legend of the industry.
Yeah.
And then you go down to LA, or San Diego, go back to Gothic.
Yeah. So I also have to explain this timeline to my therapist too. She's like, what are you running from, man?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know a lot, I guess.
It gets better.
Oh yeah.
So you're in San Diego, BDing it up, hanging out with
Christian Haviland.
Shout out Christian.
Once again, an amazing company that I was competing against down there in Haviland Landscape. And I kind
of set the standard for San Diego.
For sure.
Back in the late 2010s. Right?
Yeah, like mid-size, high quality. I don't know Haviland's, but it seemed like a high profit company just by the way they presented themselves. And that was it. That was an experience. I mean, I was 25, 26 in San Diego, living in Pacific Beach. And for anyone who knows San Diego and Pacific Beach, you know what that means. So I don't think work was a priority at that point. I don't think until this year work was a priority, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe last year, but yeah.
Maybe.
That led me back. Actually, Gothic let me go because of, whatever reasons might have happened.
Yeah. COVID. It was tough.
COVID. I don't know. Yeah. And my, good close friend, Clayton Nicholson, was like, hey, we're looking for a business developer. We've never hired one. We're a family owned company. And I was like, hell yeah. And if anyone knows Clayton, Clayton's one of the sweetest dudes in the world. Super
shout out
sincere.
Clayton.
Yeah.
San Jose guy.
San Jose.
Santa Cruz Aptos guy.
Yeah.
Operates in San Jose, runs a great operation out there, just top notch.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Dinsmore Landscape.
Dinsmore, yeah. And so I took a role there, and I remember, it's a funny story. I showed up, and in my head, I'm like, okay, I have to present myself as this like buttoned up salesperson, you know, like.
Do you wear a suit?
I wore a suit, dude. I go up there, I look like Dumb and Dumber, like, and it's. I remember it clear as day. It's Clayton and his brother, and I show up like a ding dong in this suit, and they're like, you know, in like. I don't know, basketball shorts and flannel. Like, it was super casual.
And here we are wearing a t-shirt. You're wearing
I know. Yeah. But I show up and I'm like, I want this job. And I don't know. Clayton and I had known each other and we were friends at this point. But at that point, I was just trying to put on a show. Luckily, he saw through the bullshit and gave me a role in 4 years there. It was an incredible time. We grew the company quite a bit. And yeah. And where does the journey go from there, Justin? You know.
Well, so I want to just kind of, keep going on this thing.
That wasn't 3 minutes, by the way. Sorry if you guys are.
I mean, whatever. So I want to jump into one thing real quick is through all these transitions, right? What I love about this story is you've gotten to see the industry on the West Coast, maybe more than anyone else I've ever met. Because you've worked in all these different markets.
Yeah.
You've worked for some amazing companies, right?
Yeah.
Gothic, 7Ds, Dinsmore, and you've been able to absorb that knowledge of not only working on those companies, but competing against people like Pacific and Bob Grover, competing against people like Kachina in San Jose, competing against people like Havlin and so many other really top-notch company, Le Bon's in San Diego, really top-notch companies. And here you are now in K&D in Santa Cruz, but in between Dinsmore and K&D, you took a little right turn or left turn, whatever you call it, or U-turn. I don't know. You went abroad.
Yeah, no, I just took like the jet fuel, you know. I was like, I got to experience life all the way through my 20s. And while I was at Dinsmore, I got married, and she was a doctor, so it made my life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And sorry, Clayton, if you're watching it, you saw my work performance go down because I was like, this is easy now. Like, I'm not stressing about finances. And we decided that we wanted to move to New Zealand, and amazing experience. So was out there for a little over a year and a half. Started a company out there. Yeah, I was like, I only know landscaping.
Yeah.
So started kind of a mow and cleanup company, doing some small installs, ended up getting about 4 employees. I was driving a K truck, a little manual 4x4 K truck, and I thought I was the shit.
You were?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful experience, but it was boring as hell.
Right.
And, you know, add some personal things in there, like a separation, and, you know, life hits and you're like, whoa, I have to make a choice.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're on a Zoom call with me.
Yeah.
At what time? It's got to be like,
I think I had to get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
There to talk to you guys. And I was like, man, I haven't been up this early in ages. Like, even though I was in landscaping, I was still getting up at like 7, 8.
Yeah.
4 a.m. and I'm talking to you and you're all chipper and my God, I have to keep up with this guy.
Yeah, I was like 30 minutes into the Zoom call. I'm like, I think you might be the fit, but if you really want to come and do this, you gotta get on a plane. And I was like, tomorrow. Because I always like, whenever it's remote, I just want to see how like serious people are, because a lot of people are like the thought of it, but taking the action is going to hold them short. So that was pretty exciting, actually. Of you're like, yeah, sure, okay. When's the flight? Book it. I'll be on it.
There's no better combination than an attractive company, dissatisfaction with your home life, and dissatisfaction with your work life to cultivate like a major change. I was like, all right, the trifecta's there. Like, I'm ready to see what this is. Yeah. So
what was that decision-making process, that matrix you had to go through to make the decision to leave New Zealand? Like, that's a pretty big move.
Yeah. I felt like I took the easy route, if that makes sense. I felt like I was like,
kind of running away from something.
I mean, obviously, running away. I think that's a lot of people have that issue where it's like you don't want to confront the dark side.
Yeah.
And out there I was like confronting it. I was like, man, I am grinding. I am working my ass off. And I saw what at the time, luckily, you had sold a great company. I was like, this company looks awesome, but everyone looks like they're in a cult over there. Like there's no way it's that good, right?
Candy Kool-Aid.
The candy Kool-Aid. I was like, what the hell? And I remember actually texting Clayton one time, like sending him something, being like, check Justin out. He's so full of shit, And like, I didn't really believe that you walk the walk, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that opportunity too, for you're like, all right, I'll fly you out there. I'm like, oh shit.
Right.
Okay. This is legit.
And that's a big lesson too that I've learned from other people that have come before me. When you're growing a business and you want to have the best people work on your team, be a part of your team, you have to move with speed.
Yeah.
And you have to move with decisiveness. And if you meet someone you think is a good fit, hire slowly, but hire quickly at the same time. So you can still hire slowly by accelerating the process.
That same matrix worked on my end.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, I felt this gut feeling, this pull, right? And I was like, I mean, it also helped that it's close to family. I was like, okay, worst case scenario, this place sucks. I can at least see my family, and I got a flight from the whites. So, but that gut feeling, it made me want to act, right? And I acted quickly and acted with hunger. And I was like, sure, if you want to fly me out tomorrow, I'll come.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys got a week of free work from me.
It was an interview.
Yeah, it was an interview, but I remember, I did a couple job walks.
Yeah. We had you bid some jobs. We actually had you pitch a HOA that we were bidding to our internal team.
Oh, that was a nightmare. Okay.
That was might have been the best interview tactic I've ever used, but also sadistic because it was a terrible opportunity. Mm-hmm. No chance of getting it.
No.
But, that's not what you still bid it. And you had to pitch it to, who was it in the room? Jessica?
Yeah, it was Jessica, John, Tina, and Katie. Which, if you know them, they're very detail oriented. They're no bullshit people, and I work so much better with bullshit.
Yeah, but Jessica and Tina are not going to give you anything.
No,
John's not going to talk to you. He's just going to sit there and judge you the entire
John
time.
Roasted my ass.
Yeah. He's just going to wait for you to.
I couldn't say something. Even if I was right, I was wrong.
Yeah,
it was one of those pitches, and I'm sure people have been in those pitches in real life. I know I have. It's like I cannot say anything right now. Kind of felt like that, but yeah, it was a pressure cooker.
So, all right. And we're here today. So everyone who didn't know Tony, now you know Tony.
Jeez, pretty personally, huh?
To speed. I felt like we were getting into a therapy session.
How much do I owe you, Justin?
Your presence is enough.
Thank you.
Here's the deal. So on this podcast, what I want to do is we're going to do this regularly. I don't know how often, once a month, once a quarter, we'll figure it out. But I want to talk about what we're seeing in the landscape industry. So you recently took a promotion here at K&D, taking on more responsibility, stepping up. You are the director of growth.
The dog.
As of yesterday, June 1st, officially. And I mean, first off, congratulations on that. It's a huge move.
Appreciate it.
Secondly, as the director of growth, I mean, part of this is being on the podcast brought to you by K&D today, TradesTalk, and talking about the industry, talking about what we're seeing from a growth standpoint. I think growth for any human being is necessary, right? Progress equals happiness. And in a company, what does growth mean? It doesn't always need to be revenue focused. And I feel like in an industry that is so institutionalized and metric driven and KPI this and labor variance this, like if you listen to me, you probably hear all that and it gets kind of annoying. I have become very robotic and I am very repetitive because I want to have a narrative, a brand, right? Raise the bar in the landscape industry, labor variance, what have you. But I want to have this conversation with you to explore the outer rings of our industry, to open up our minds a little more to the human element, to the aspects that make this industry what it is, which are the people.
Right.
So with all that, that's kind of a bit of a tee up for you.
I mean, yeah, you answered it. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. This industry is nothing without the people. Mainly the people, like our teammates in the field, like that's the backbone of every single landscape company throughout the nation, throughout the world. But yeah, I mean, growth is everything. Growth is culture. Growth is money. Growth is regions. Growth is marketing. Growth is personal growth. I mean, for me, there's so many aspects that go into it. And yeah, I think that the backbone, the people, the teams, that's the most important part.
Absolutely. So with what you've seen in the industry recently, let's just say the last 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Just 2025. What is changing with the people, the human aspect, the growth aspect? I mean, I feel like it's changing and changing fast, the demands of what people want from a company. I mean, are you picking up on that? You've got a couple people that are very green in the industry. Yeah. What are you seeing in that regard as far as what do people need and want from a growth standpoint?
Right. I mean, I can see it all the way back to COVID almost. It's just people wanting to get more in touch with the natural world. And there's a hunger to be in an industry like ours. And I don't feel like there's any shortage of talent for teams like my growth team in particular, like such a talented team. But I didn't hire them because they were like the best landscapers or knew everything about, valve replacements and, maintenance. Right. I hired them because they were hungry. Yeah. And they were human. You know what I mean? Like it was the type of people that you can have a conversation with, that I can't cuss, you could mess up with, and they would weather those punches with you. But as far as, the industry goes, what I'm seeing is that there's an even greater need for human connection and bringing people, like I said, to the natural world. It's a difficult time, right? AI is everything. Everything's instantaneous.
We got to talk about AI today for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. AI, right when I started using AI, people knew I was full of shit, right? They're like, Tony has never sounded like this on an email ever. All of a sudden it's like, to whom it may concern, I would like to write you a letter.
No. I hope this email finds you
well. Oh, God. Massive dash.
Yeah. Dash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a dead giveaway.
It is.
And then you start using words that you've never said, like whom.
Yeah.
Whom.
Whomst is still listening to the podcast right now. That's what I want to know.
I think most people tuned off after 5 minutes. But no, it's so I was listening to a podcast with Simon Sinek the other day, and he was saying in the in the Industrial Revolution and even in the 80s and 90s, as the factories were becoming robots and the factory workers were being replaced by robots. Yeah. Right? All the lawyers and CPAs and knowledge people were like, reskill, like find a different skill.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. The robots are taking your job. Today, the CPAs, the knowledge workers, the lawyers are being replaced by AI, not at scale, but it's coming. It's obvious.
That baseline knowledge is so accessible.
It's so there.
Like shout out Cress, right? Shout out Cress with the robots doing robotic mowers. I mean, it's like these things are evolving in front of us, and now we're able to use them as tools. And, hopefully they don't make AI or robotic humans. But
dude, SpaceX or Tesla, they're building some crazy.
I'm blacking out.
Here's the deal, though. I don't think they're at a point where a robot's going to be able to come out and plant a tree.
We've been having this conversation for 10 years.
It's not even close.
When you think about it, we've been having this conversation for 10 years. Robotics are great. There's amazing advancements in robotics, but Holy smokes. It's going to be an interesting day when we have a Tesla robot planting 1 gallons at 36 inches on center.
Because there's so much more low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Think of agricultural row crops,
right.
very predictable, right? Like artichokes. My buddy Greg Scattini, and if you guys have not tried the Scattini artichoke, oh my God, they're so good. Like they're not even comparable to the other artichokes, and you just got to find them. Scattini artichokes.
The hearts are what makes it different. Yeah,
they're so good. So anyway, we're talking about it. They still cut off the top of the artichoke from the stalk.
Yeah.
Throw it in a backpack. And then they lift that backpack on, they hand sort them. It's all manual.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me about some robots and automation, and it's just so hard to do that in a predictable environment.
Right.
So take that to landscaping where it's unpredictable. It's like there's so much other easy things that are going to be fixed with robots before landscaping. Row crops, fast food joints, making coffee, like I think landscaping, plumbing, electricians, roofers,
trades are pretty safe.
We are going to be the last to be automated. So by the time that we have landscapers at scale that are robots, I think we're going to be in a whole new world. That's going to be the least of our problems.
But there's also going to be the argument of the like artisanal touch, right? When you go to Italy and you have olive oil versus when you go to Trader Joe's and have olive oil, it's a different experience.
That's a good point.
It's like you're going to taste the dirt on the olive farmer's hand versus Trader Joe's, whatever.
Yeah, they tip 20 million bottles.
Same thing back to the artichokes. It's like you're going to tell that those were hand sorted. It's not just going to be some robot shink and then, back into the, I don't know.
It's almost too perfect when it's done by the robots, right? Like that's like.
It's what I'm saying now in my emails. People think I'm perfect now. It's crazy.
It's scary.
You can't be that good looking and write an email like that. That's what I think.
You got to pull it back.
Yeah, I gotta dumb it down.
I mean, people look for errors in a positive way, I think now. I used to be really focused on when I went on stage to do my presentations, be super polished. Remove ums, remove ands, filler words gone, the perfect pause, the slides are perfect, no miss. And now it's like half of me is, look, I just want to be authentic. I want to be authentic more than I want to be perfect. Because authenticity is the value creation of today and tomorrow.
It's the soft skills.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard because then we go back to hire. I'm just like ping-ponging my brain, but I'm thinking about hiring, right? And there was a generation that at some point I was old enough to start hiring, right? Like all of a sudden I'm hiring a previous generation. That was a trip.
Yeah.
Because I was once that generation where like, oh, these guys are all just like, la-di-da. And I just realized that there is a lack of those soft skills.
Yeah.
Every generation that we're moving away. It's not like they're gone, right? There's tons of awesome kiddos who are just like coming into the world, but like those soft skills also can't be replaced by a robot. There's human connection and there's 100%. Human energies, and I'm not going to get all philosophical hippie Burning Man, but it's real, right? There's something that you can feel that's tangible between two humans.
The question is, how much does that become a nice to have versus a must have? Because I do think at a certain point, people aren't going to necessarily want that human aspect as much. And I don't mean us. I mean the kids that are 10 years old today, they're going to be uncomfortable in a podcast situation like us. They're going to be very comfortable behind Zoom.
Yeah.
I'll turn my camera off and I'll do a podcast with you, but coming in person, sitting down at a table like this, I think they're going to struggle with that. They're going to lean to areas where they can hide behind emails, behind filters, behind screens.
Yeah.
And I think we have a limited amount of time to enjoy this aspect of authenticity and human connection, because I very much do think it's a value add today. But I do wonder at what point, is it 5, is it 10, is it 30 years from today, where being human becomes kind of like, okay, boomer. Like
I'm becoming a boomer, dude.
Like someone asked, I needed to write a check for my passport.
Yeah.
Right. And I told Drew, I was like, Drew, I don't have a check. Like
what do I put in the memo line? It's true. I mean, honestly,
has my account number, routing number, all of this. Like,
it's so obvious. I mean, the answer is development, right? It's like a plant when it's given light. It's like it's going to grow where there's most light. Yeah. So when you look at human development, it's like we were on that cusp generation where we didn't really have phones. We kind of had phones. We kind of had internet. So like our skills around conversation and things like that are a little more well refined. I'm not that good at it. And honestly, I mean, this is my first podcast ever. This is your 800th. I don't know, but
definitely triple digits, but
it will be the same thing for the younger generations. It's where that light is given to them. And I feel like for those younger generations, if anyone's listening, it's put yourself in those uncomfortable positions that require you to like interview in person or cold call. Go sell solar for a year.
Go door to door.
Exactly. Like go work in retail, go work in a restaurant. I think what happens now is a lot of people are just college professional.
Yep.
And there's something to be learned in that dirty area.
Yeah, it's almost like the experience is too curated.
Right.
When you go from high school to college to professional, corporate,
right.
You're in this curated simulation. Like,
dude, like, the mushrooms are hitting.
It's kind of like a simulation.
It is,
I mean,
yeah.
And obviously simulation theory is true. It's a real thing.
Right.
That people think. I'm not saying it's a real thing.
Well, I'm just agreeing with you because I don't want to be implicated in any of this simulation talk.
But when you really go out and get dirty, like both of us, and I hope everybody gets an opportunity to work in the field. Mm-hmm. It's such a rad thing to do.
Sucks at times, but it's amazing at times.
Oh, I mean, it's motivation to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right. And as I watch Andreas walk by outside, and I want to help those guys find a way to promote themselves into supervisor, into account manager, into project manager. So I want to go there next. I want to talk about account management because I do think it is the most hardest and underrated position in our industry, and I think it's a massive gap.
Right.
What do you say?
I love it. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's dive in.
But I also want to put the warning that we could be starting to talk about account management and we can end up talking about veganism.
This is a conversation in the disruptors is always going on. This question comes up. What should be the responsibility of an account manager? A loaded question.
Is there a couple options or is it just like one? Choose one.
No. Like this is a discussion because production, quality, where does that fall? Do you have production managers? Do you have no production manager? What about the branch manager? What if you don't have a branch manager? A lot of family-owned companies that they just call someone an account manager because that's the best title they can think of.
Right.
So truly, for landscapers who are looking to really build the best account manager teams out there, what should the question should be what should an account manager be responsible for? What should be their job duties?
The outcome of the client, right? I think that's kind of really simple way to put it, I guess. But when you're in the sales process, before you even take on an account, you're trying to align the client's wants, the client's needs, and you're listening to see how that can be the best long-term relationship.
Right.
So I guess to make a short story long, the account manager needs to be in charge of retention, needs to be in charge of upsells, and needs to be in charge of the client outcome, which means that client has to be delighted and feel like whatever they were sold, they are receiving. Obviously, there's some responsibility to the salesperson on that as well.
There is.
Yeah.
But to that point, when you're trying to sell a maintenance property, we kind of say a lot of shit. And I don't say we like K&D, I mean the industry. Like BDs will say almost anything to land an account. Like, we'll do this, we'll do that.
Dude, we did it. I mean, we had a Coming to Jesus a couple weeks ago. I put some stuff into our proposal package and I'm like, dude, well, I was like, this sounds good. And if I was a client, like I would want this. And it's like, no duh. But then the actuality of that, yeah, a 5-year warranty on plants. Okay, that works. It's good. But like there was one that was bad. I sold a job that had like 25 Weathermatic controllers and I didn't even account for that.
Right. I mean, in that one, yeah, but I think the worst one was like,
yeah, let's dig in. Let's roast me. Go on.
I think the worst one, it was like a small bank or a quick stop. It wasn't a big account. And it was like, part of your onboarding will include a 3-year, 5-year, and 10-year like strategic property plan.
We don't want to know what that bank's going to look like in 10 years, man.
Like, I think it was left over from an HOA that's like, all the HOAs in California are going through a bunch of nightmarish regulations right now. So for them, a 10-year plan is needed.
Right.
But for, the Chase Bank on the corner,
no, man, we're changing the face of Chase Bank, and K&D is going to be the, I could have pitched that to you.
The Dietes Bagata is really going to need a lot of care over the next few years.
Yeah.
Deep root fertilization.
No, right. I think it is. Okay, but like to lure it back, it is about that alignment between sales, the client, and ops. Right?
Yeah,
like that is the pillar, right? It's the pillar, and the AM, in the way, I don't know, they're the tip of the spear. They have direct access, and if they're doing that right, account managing, they are, trusted by their client. They're getting the feedback, and they're able to translate that to sales, and they're able to translate that to ops to make sure that we're fulfilling our duty to the client.
Right. So they're kind of like the connection between everything and everybody in a successful site.
If you look at the best companies in our industry, they have the best account managers.
Gosh, yeah.
And I would say there's very little argument to that because there's certain, and that's just because I don't want you to argue with me, but yeah.
That's a good way of like,
just to diffuse it. Yeah, you can't argue with me.
There's really no arguing that.
There's no arguing that point, dude. And if you try, wrong. I know all the account managers, the best account managers.
The best.
I
know the best.
No, but they, a company with strong account management has strong retention, strong capture rate on their revenue, and their clients are happy.
How do you gain trust with the client as an account manager?
You listen generously.
Yeah.
You show up when you say you're going to show up. I mean, it's super simple. Yeah.
It really is the basic.
But it is. It's like you show up when you say you're going to show up. Huge. You communicate when there needs to be communication, which is like something is going on your site. It's so simple, and there's so many apps out there now, but just to snap a photo and say, hey, X, Y, and Z, I'm on your site, and I just want to let you know I'm taking a look at this.
Yeah.
How far that goes for a client is like, there's no dollar that you can put on that. But yeah.
No, I totally agree. But here's the challenge, right? I think most account managers, they see an issue. They want to fix that issue before the client sees it.
Right.
So if they're doing their job right, the property never looks any different. It always looks good.
Why are we bringing every issue to the client?
Well, that's the thing. Is like, should you be bringing those issues up and saying, hey, I saw this? Because maybe the client already saw it and they're waiting for you to take care of it.
Yeah. Okay. But I like to change this and like think about it, a role reversal.
Okay.
Right? I hired the top of the line landscape company. Some dude with a mustache came in and convinced me to buy the world. And I want to sit on my couch and I want to do as little as possible with that account.
Right.
So why is the account manager constantly looping me in to every little detail?
Right.
These interactions should be positive. These interactions should be like guiding. It should be almost like coaching. The back end stuff, the nitty gritty, the shit that sucks.
Yeah.
That's for AM and ops, right?
Yeah.
There's something in, shout out maybe to Gothic. I forget where I learned it, but there has to be a veil in the client experience. You can't expose them to every broken valve, every X, Y, and Z, all this that, that isn't pressing. It needs to be a favorable client experience. Do those things need to get handled? Yes. So there's a tact to how you handle that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's like when you get a notification on your phone, it's like, yeah, you're not getting enough sleep, and you get it every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, if your account manager is doing that to you, you're going to get the same reaction that you're giving that app, which is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I know I'm not getting enough sleep. I know we don't have the budget for that. I know we don't have this. How are you making this better for me?
Right.
So it's a challenging place to be, dude.
Because so you want to let the client know of you're doing your job.
Right.
Right. But there's this like happy and shout out to Joshua Dake with Pacific and now what they're doing with their company, but Osprey, that's what I was going for. But Joshua Dake, he's a seasoned professional in the maintenance realm, and he was explaining this like perfect amount of communication. So you don't want to like not communicate,
right?
And you don't want to over communicate, like you're saying, right? Yeah. So there's this like happy medium. As a newer account manager, right, a lot of people are newer into the industry to listen to this podcast. Like, what's your advice on that cadence of communication? Like, how often do you communicate with them? What should you or should you not?
Why are you guessing? That's what I would ask them.
Okay.
Why are you guessing what cadence you should be communicating with them? Why don't you ask your client?
Oh.
You know what I mean? That. It's like simple where it's like we nowadays try to have everything figured out. It's like, hey, Mr. Jones, like I'm going to be on your site 3, maybe 4 times a month. How often do you want me to be communicating you with things that go on site? He goes, oh, well, if there's a broken lateral line, I would like you to tell me right away. Or, if it's X, Y, and Z irrigation repair, we have a 500 ticket. Like, stop bothering me.
Interesting.
I think that it's like kind of that old school mentality. It's just like cold calling when we're looking at sales. It's like you're never going to be as effective as going in person and being in front of people.
Right.
You're never going to be effective if you don't understand what that person wants.
Mm-hmm.
If you're guessing and you're like, well, the K&D way is to send you an update every, I did say every time you're on site, so maybe I just like backtracking. But like,
that's okay.
I think we're learning as we're going. But I think that the best way to communicate with your client is known by your client.
I totally agree. Because I've had some clients who want a completely hands-off approach. Mm-hmm. They just want to know everything's taken care of. And if there's an issue, bring it up. If not, leave me alone until budget season.
Right.
And then give me all the things you want to do next year in my budget so I don't have to worry about it next year.
Right.
And then there's the clients who are, they're like avid gardeners at home. And whenever I hear that, it's like red flag.
Yeah.
Like I'm on a client walk and I hear, oh, I'm an avid gardener. Like I'm like,
you just got $2,000 out of your proposal. I don't even know where that came from, but you just got $2,000 out of your proposal.
You're like, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm the facilities manager for XYZ company. You're like, okay.
I'm a master composter.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But no shame in the compost game. But yeah, you're like, okay, you're going to think you know more than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scary part is for some account managers, maybe they do know more than some of the account managers in the industry because we have such an influx of new people coming into our industry, which is awesome. But that is a scary spot to be. So I don't know, like bringing this back around, it sounds like just ask your client how often they would like us to communicate with them. Do they like text messages? Do they like Snapchat? Do they like email?
Straight up. I've had clients that have just communicated with me via Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like, I post a story and they're like, ha, the sprinkler's broken, dickhead. But honestly, it's like.
The sprinkler's broken at 123 Smith Street.
You're like, oh, great, you're doing my job for me. But, I think that we're peeling back so many layers to this onion, but it comes back to being human and it comes back to being that person for your client.
Yeah.
Right. If we try to automate everything to death, the client experience will be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like we've automated. We know what it's like. Just like back to the notification example, we know what it's like to get boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So many notifications. Doesn't feel good.
Right.
It makes me feel stressed. Honestly, I feel like I'm failing.
That's
right?
kind of, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when you look at the human psychology, you're like, okay, well, maybe we have to get deeper into this. Like maybe the property manager truly doesn't have the budget because the ownership is like super strict on their budget.
Right.
And so they can't do the 10 plant infill where it died because they didn't fix the irrigation repair. But you have to understand where that client's coming from.
Yeah.
Because that might not be an issue. You might not be able to do the job to the best of your ability because of the circumstances, but you can still ensure that client experience is favorable.
Yeah. So on that note, right, it's like getting back to first principles. Let's just first principle this idea of account manager. Like once you go to the most basic entry level idea of what a account manager should do,
Keep your client.
keep your client and keep them happy.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned automation. We can automate a lot of what an account manager does. So why don't we do it? Well, it's because people still want to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
And people still want to have someone, a person they can email, text, call on a regular basis, maybe 24/7, and they know that person is dedicated to them and their account.
Right.
And when they say, hey, my line is broke and it's water in the parking lot,
Yeah.
the account manager can say, go to the backflow. It's behind this southwest corner of the building and
Right.
turn it off. They want to know someone knows their site better than them.
Right.
And I think that at a very foundational entry level of account manager is like the relationship
Mm-hmm.
is freaking everything.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, how many relationships should an account manager have? How many clients?
Oh, gosh.
How many clients can an account manager truly manage at a high level? What's the number?
I love that like we're always trying to put like a magic number on it. Like, you know, you can go back to the P&Ls and all that and the profitability. And we're like, well, about, you know, $100,000 a month to an account manager, that's the perfect book of business. And it's like, how valuable is that client to your company?
Yeah.
How much is that client worth to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are they worth just, you know, you could have a $5,000 a month client that refers you to everybody.
Yeah.
Spends $10,000 a month on enhancements.
Yeah. Forgetting the enhancements.
Yeah.
The financial, just think of the impact.
Exactly.
Where's their property located? Yeah. It's on the corner of Main Street.
Yeah.
It's the mayor of
Right.
the town. So
Right.
quote unquote mayor, right?
Yeah.
It's
the imprint that goes beyond just the revenue. And so, you know, ideally it's whatever your account manager can do while still staying in that cadence, that green zone, that cadence zone. And man, I wish I had the perfect answer for you, but because, you know, some people have one key account, it's $70,000 a month and it's an HOA and, you know, they're inseparable. Yeah. But is that technically what a AM supposed to do? Look, I
would argue you could probably do two. Let's say those communities are somewhat next to each other. You could probably do two communities that are $70,000, $80,000 a month,
right? With
one account manager. So that puts them into like a $2 million a year range.
Yeah.
Which most people would argue is way too much for an account manager.
That sounds like the dream.
That's right.
Shout out to Michael Lashbrook, who's the 5 Mile Miracle there, where there's 200 HOAs all over $50,000 a month.
South Florida.
I would kill for two $70,000 a month accounts that were right around the corner from each other. That sounds like a dream, but yeah, I mean.
Sounds like Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, we're coming.
No.
I want to go.
The market is so hot. We just flew into it in the Tiger El Tigre, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This expansion magnitude there is
right.
Next level.
Right. Bill Maher, Jeff, Mark.
Yeah, par 3, boys at par 3. A lot of great companies in that market.
Yeah.
In that valley. What a hell of valley too. 120 degrees. Like, no thanks. I mean, it was 78 on Sunday and it was hot.
Yeah.
We
have our guys coming back and they're like, dude, senor, it's like so hot. We're like,
George is like, it hit 96 degrees. It's fucking hot.
No, it is. Yeah.
But it's not 120.
No. No. But, yeah.
So getting back to the account managers, I want to also ask something, which is production manager, no production manager. You've seen it both ways. How should people be setting up their org charts today with account manager, production managers?
I think they're so necessary to the book of business, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it a couple different ways. Like when I was at Gothic, I was hired on as an ops manager, which was that kind of middle ground between the AM and the crews that also fielded client responses that like, hey, you know, there's a lateral over here. This station's shorting out X, Y, and Z. But I think per book of business for account manager, there should be a production manager. Yeah. But I know that we've seen different ways that work, right? Like when you look at the Pacific, what's the kind of org over at Pacific that we saw?
They have an ops manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. That works with their account manager.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a nice unit.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Schill and his team, Schill Grounds Management, they have a similar system. Haviland and Verde Property Services, similar, who has gone more of a, you call it non-conventional route where they only have an account manager and crews, is JT Price and Landscape Workshop. They recently just sold to Acres Group, but JT's an incredible operator and, I mean, one of the best integrators. I mean, they bought, I don't know, a couple dozen, maybe 30 plus companies in a short period of time, integrated them so well.
Yeah.
These were smaller companies. And so, you know, their mindset was lean management. And so they did not have operational leaders or operational managers or production managers, account manager, crews. And it worked really well for them.
Right.
So I think there's no perfect setup.
Right.
Like we can have this conversation every day for the rest of our life and always come to a different conclusion.
What matches your culture? What's not burning out your employees? What's retaining your clients? Like, I think they're the questions you have to ask yourself almost daily.
Yeah.
Almost as temperature gauges. And then you'll know if you're doing it right or wrong because, you know, say you have a production manager and an account manager and you're still losing a ton of clients, you know, there's an issue there, even if that's the dream combination. So, you know, not to oversimplify it, but yeah, I mean, retention's key. I mean, we hit a little stormy weather, right? We lost a couple clients and we felt it across the board. We're like, oh God, now we have to sell more enhancements. I have to, you know, the growth team has to sell more accounts and it's not a great position to be in.
No, when our goal is to grow 30% year over year organically in perpetuity, like that's not like waning as we grow and get bigger. It just becomes harder. You can't lose clients. If you have more than a 5% attrition rate, like selling 35% or more annually, especially once your book of business gets larger into the 8-figure mark, like, that is hard.
Yeah.
That is hard. But hey, if you sign up for 30% year over year growth, then you better be able to sell organically.
Yeah. Sell the dream, deliver the nightmare.
Sell the dream. Yeah. You just got to avoid. And I mean, that's a good point. Like, what is the limit of year-over-year new growth while still maintaining a high level of quality and a high level of efficiency and a high level of continuity across the platform? Because when you look at companies like Brightview, I think, you know, honestly, shout out to Brightview right now because I think they have actually done a really good job as of late with their corporate turnaround.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, they're the industry punching bag. So it's like, you know, it's easy to go after Brightview, but Brightview's regional, right? Like some regions, Brightview is the top shop.
Yep.
Some regions, unfortunately, shout out to Brightview, they aren't. And thank you, because that's how we get some of our work. But it's the way it goes, right? It's easy for us to be a very regional company and be like, well, Brightview sucks. But I mean, how hard would it be to go across the United States and try to replicate something that you're doing well? I mean, we're gonna do it. But it's not gonna be easy.
I think that's what feeds into the strategic plan that we have, right? Is like we see this opportunity of technology, of generational transitions, and of massive amounts of capital being allocated towards our industry. Like in one day in New York, I talked to 3 different private equity companies in total, over $1 billion with a B in cash
Billion.
that they wanted to deploy in our industry.
Yeah.
Like one guy was like, yeah, I have 300 million allocated. And it was just, it was an insane amount of money
Yeah.
that was, and I think for a large part still is, looking for a home. And they're looking for a home in our freaking house.
Yeah, it's
In the
wild.
landscaping industry. So, like, what a great opportunity, but can we take the lessons from the previous, runs, the Brightviews and the Valley Crests and the Brickmans, and how they came to be Brightview?
They redefined professional landscaping.
Oh my God.
You think about it in like the 80s, the 70s and 80s. People who were landscaping were like, we're going to mow lawns and we're going to smoke a joint and we're going to like have a six pack after work and we're cruising. Right. And that, as these assets became more valuable and people had this more money to spend, you realize they needed a professional service. And exactly that. I mean, it hasn't slowed down when you're talking about the billionaires that want to put their money into, the hort or the green industry. It's like, it's no surprise. It's a valuable industry. What was that? Charlie Munger just said, he's like, the most valuable assets are your landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out Charlie.
Yeah.
I paid him a lot to say that, but that was cool to see,
Rest his soul.
Yeah. I didn't know he passed away. When did he die?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, well.
But I mean, he's
R.I.P. Charlie Munger. Thank you.
R.I.P. Muggs. But I mean, I was listening to this book and they were talking about essential services and they landed on landscape and lawn care. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, look, no matter how bad it gets, people are still going to take care of their landscaping.
Right.
Whether they have to do it themselves or they hire someone to do it. Landscape management will always be a thing that we value until it isn't. But for now, it is. And I think that's why this industry is poised for a insane run over the next 10 years.
If we didn't touch anything in the outside world, we would not have a place in it, right? I mean, that's the thing, is that nature is so much, plants, nature, it's so much more powerful than just like a standard human. We think we're the, head honcho of this world, but you look at around us, no chance.
Well, we fly a lot.
I'm just trying to make it sound really important right now, like landscapers. Without landscapers, this world would end.
It would be taken over like a jungle.
Exactly. Haven't you seen The Last of Us?
Yeah, that's a good show, actually.
There you go.
It's the
zombie
season. I feel like the second season was a bit.
I watched an episode or two, and then decided to watch Ozark again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that one.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't like the way it ended.
I want to be like Marty Bird, but me with numbers, it's like they were rolling. It's good.
3. Hey guys, we're back, and should we start it like that, or should we just like
technical difficulties? I don't know. The number gods. I was talking about numbers, and they came down and.
Yeah, you were talking about Ozarks.
I was talking about Ozark, yeah.
And the cartel shut our computer off.
Yeah, dude, they found out.
Yeah.
They said, that guy looks like the guy from Narcos.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That's where I know you from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, we covered an array of topics today. And one thing that I wanted to get to is electric equipment.
Oh, good.
Because electric equipment for us has been a huge advantage. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to say it's the end all be all. Everyone should go electric. But what I will say, it's given us something to talk about with our clients.
Mm-hmm. Every single client.
Every single client cares about the noise and the fumes from the blower.
Even if they don't care, even if it wasn't something they were thinking about, or like it's not, you mention it, it's still a positive reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like they're not like, yeah, let's go. Like some of them are.
Some of them are.
But even the clients that are typically like kind of curmudgeons, they're like, okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Like, it's as powerful as gas?
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, it is.
Yeah.
We can save money? Yep. It actually does save money.
You can sleep past 9 a.m. on a Saturday?
Picture this.
Yeah.
Like, we were at a high-end resort having our management meeting. It was about 8 a.m. on a Friday. And this is a resort that we used to maintain. But, HOA drama, we all know that. And the people that took it over are not electric equipment. We were all electric on that site since day one, 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, so it's 8 a.m. I park my truck. I open the door. And it's like right there.
And it's
The
like an
guy's
episode of Cops for you.
Run, and he starts the blower and just starts blowing it, like dusting me out.
Yeah.
And this is I'm not going to name the company. I wish I'm not going to. And I shut my door, I grab my stuff, and I just start taking a video of him.
Like Justin live streaming, like kind of almost like Karen-esque, you know?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. You're like, and they're like, what the? You know,
The guy's like, what are you doing? He stops the blower, and he's just like
staring at you.
and I'm just like, at this point, I'm cracking up. And I'm like, thanks, and I'm walking out. I texted over to my buddies at Crest, and I was like, this is why we have to do this. We have to get the industry to transition. And this is a high-end resort.
Yep.
Friday morning, 8 a.m. or earlier. It was like 7:58 because our meeting started at 8. I wasn't going to be too early. And wow, I couldn't believe it. And that's what we're dealing with. That is the standard quo for landscapers. Like, we've got to do a better job representing our industry in the public view.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's a huge mission.
It's progress, right? And I mean, you're always talking about it. We talk about it. Raising the bar in the landscape industry doesn't happen without progression.
Yeah.
There's no, oh yeah, well, we've always done it this way. We've always used this gas powered. It's like, okay, I get it. You're comfortable with it. It works. We're not saying that it doesn't get the job done, but can you get the job done better?
Yeah.
And quieter. And more cost effective.
Maybe faster and cheaper. Like, because you don't have to refuel.
Right.
I shouldn't say you don't have to refuel. You have to go back, get a new battery, what have you, just like you would refuel. In the mornings, though, and in the evenings, you just plug in the trailer.
Right.
You don't have to, get your gas and get your oil and mix everything and go to, the pull start broke. I mean, there's so many reasons.
I just sell it, There's a lot of smarter people who've done, the, production rates on all of it. For me, I'm like, it's quiet.
Yep.
It works well. And you can sleep past 8 a.m. in your HOA when we're on there.
Give us a T, though, on a real note. What do and how are the production crew really receiving the electric equipment? Because from the outside, I think everyone just sees us rolling out Crest and they're like, oh, it's perfect. Everybody loves it. But the truth of the matter is,
there's a recurring theme here, and it's the human nature part of this, but it's mixed. I mean, when you're used to something like gas powered equipment, loud means powerful, loud means working, loud means tough.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's an aspect of that. Some of the crew members, and it's funny, I noticed this more so on maintenance, are way more stoked on the electric equipment. It's lighter. They're able to just whip in, whip out, get it done. It's quiet. The construction guys, on the other hand, they don't like it as much.
Right.
We were at that large cleanup out in San Jose, big weed abatement cleanup. Half of the equipment was Crest, and it was our maintenance crew.
Yeah.
And then the other half was the construction crew, and they brought, I don't know, just whatever ragtag equipment they had. And I asked them, I'm like, hey, they're like, we like this one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the natural progression of it. They just don't know they can do the same job quieter and lighter and quicker. So it's just favorable, though.
There's a stigma,
I
think, with maybe 25% of the team. And I think that's why we did maintenance first. We haven't done full-on construction. I mean, construction doesn't have a ton of equipment. They don't use it every day. But it's favorable when the guys use it.
Right.
It's like trying to get someone to use something for the first time.
Right.
And once they use it, they go, why have I not done this sooner?
Meditating, stretching, cold plunges. It's the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
It's I hate cold plunges.
Yeah.
But every time when I'm done, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to go full Joe Rogan on this because I'm not like an alpha Chad bro. Cold plunges are cool. So no offense, Justin.
I cold plunge every day, but that's okay.
But it is one of those things that if you do it, you feel better. Same thing with electric equipment.
That's a great pitch. When you do this, you feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, I think, something to that. I was talking to one of the guys, and he's like, I didn't realize how much my clothes stunk.
Oh my gosh.
Like my vest, my jacket, my sweatshirt. Like, look, when it's cold outside, and like, it's like these guys have 5 jackets they wear every day of the week. Like, you wear the same freaking jacket for at least a week, maybe 2, on laundry rotation. So by the time that jacket gets washed, it reeks like fumes.
Dude, it's not even the smell. Like, I'm thinking back to being in New Zealand, and I had like we allowed to say other brands?
Just say the other brand.
The other brand, Weed Whacker, string machine, and I was doing these, massive yard cleanups, and I'd be on that thing for like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah.
The ringing in the ear, even with the protection. The inhalation of the fumes, like, especially in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, because they don't have as much regulations.
And I'm like, Crest is already out there, but there's an avenue there because it is the greenest, most beautiful, most natural place. I'm like, I wish I was ripping a Crest out there.
Yeah.
Gosh. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe I quit.
Why don't we open a branch in New Zealand?
Yeah, I'm going back to Gizzy.
Dude, that sounds
Shout out Gisborne, New Zealand. If you're listening, Aotearoa.
So, electric equipment's good.
Yeah.
I think that's the takeaway from that session.
Right.
I think that's the other thing with this podcast is like, it's going to be one of those things we wish we did sooner.
I mean,
I'm putting positive vibes on.
Yeah, this feels like it was meant to be. It's definitely a rabbit in a hat, kind of like.
I think people don't like listening. I mean, honestly, I love our trades talk. It's great. It provides a ton of value, but it's a bit like, this is what I do. This is where I go. This is my ideas, and that's that. So I just feel like today was fun because we didn't have an agenda.
Yeah.
We did a little intro on you. We won't need to do that next time.
It was a long one.
But like, we can just get into, the conversation.
Right.
So
I had fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's wrap it.
All right. Thanks, man.
Does that mean we have to do can there be different exit music? Is the same exit music?
No, we should change it up. What do you want?
Dude, Prince.
Like a banjo?
Yeah, techno, heavy house.
Heavy house.
Yeah, heavy house.
Heavy house.
Yeah.
Heavy house dropping in 3, 2, 1.